I really like to build commander decks, and what I've done here is I've built one that sort of rides the line between two worlds. On the one hand, you're going to see a customized Batman deck. I really wanted a Batman commander deck, and so I really tried to choose some flavorful cards to represent certain aspects of Batman, either the comics or the movies, just the mythos in general. On the other hand, I really wanted to have a playable commander deck. I didn't just want it to be only for fun with only flavorful choices, and I think I've accomplished both things. This video is sponsored by Dragon Shield. Make sure you stick around to the end, and I'm going to tell you how you could win some of their new Batman Commander product. Oh yeah, we're doing a giveaway at the end of this one. The video starts right now.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat.
Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. This is Batman the Commander deck. We are going to go through the Commander deck itself, and then we're going to take a look at some of the customized cards that I've started working on to eventually have a fully customized Batman themed deck. Make sure you stick around to the end so I can tell you how to win some of that sweet Dragon Shield gear. Let's take a look at the Commander of Batman the Commander deck. So we have here Batman Gotham Knight. This is a reskin of Chromium the Mutable, who is the commander of my Batman Commander deck. I like this for two reasons. Very powerful threat in the air, cannot be countered. Batman is going to happen whether you like it or not. And Batman's got Flash. It's going to come from the shadows when you least expect it. Hello, you've got a flying 7/7 to deal with. Plus, little flavorful ability down there at the bottom. Discard a card until end of turn. It becomes, let's say, Bruce Wayne. A 1/1 human, loses all abilities, gain hexproof. You can't stop Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's got too much money. You can't touch Bruce Wayne. But I'll tell you, at the end of the day, we're trying to win with Batman. With that in mind, I built this deck around two main themes, and that's Flash and hopefully winning with Batman. Chromium comes with Flash, and so I really want to live during our opponent's turns, and I want to get some value for that. We run cards like Cunning Nightbonder that reduces cards' costs with Flash. We run cards like Brineborn Cutthroat that reward us for casting spells during our opponent's turn. Same thing with cards like Wavebreak Hippocamp, and we've also got some control-y aspects with Notion Thief allowing us to draw cards that our opponents would be drawing, and lots of control magic. That's what we're going to be trying to do, is control the board so that hopefully we can get through with Chromium either regular commander damage because we've done such a good job of keeping everybody else at bay, or combining Chromium that if you discard a card and it becomes Bruce Wayne, you can make it unblockable and then attach Vorpal Sword to it so that we just win the game. Whenever equipped creature deals damage to a player, that player loses the game. Or we just equip it with an enormous Black Blade Reforged and get through that way. So that's how the deck operates. A lot of Flash, a lot of control magic, and then we're going to try and get through with Chromium as our final win condition, or any of our other creatures with a equipment like Vorpal Sword or Black Blade Reforged attached to it. The general sense, though, is that Chromium Batman, that's how we want to win. So with Vorpal Spear being a main win condition for us, I'm going to say the name of the card wrong. It's actually Vorpal Sword because I've customized it into Kryptonite Spear. Little Batman v Superman reference for you. Starting off with a movie that people really didn't like that much, but I do like having one of the more iconic Batman weapons here that in the last few years especially, being our That Player Loses the Game card in our deck. Basically with Chromium, either it gets through and hits with Kryptonite Spear and we win, or it downgrades into Bruce Wayne or the 1/1 human, can't be blocked, it's got the spear attached, it gets through anyway. So I really like this as a finisher. Another of our big equipment finishers is Batman's Gauntlets. This is Black Blade Reforged. Equipping Chromium only costs 3. This is really fantastic in an equipment finisher deck, and especially good here because that 1/1 has hexproof and unblockable if it converts down into Bruce Wayne. And so Kryptonite Spear, Batman's Gauntlets as your main win cons here. I love those, and very flavorful alters here of these cards. Bat Suit is our Dark Steel Plate. Really all that Chromium, aka Batman, is missing is Indestructible, and the Bat Suit lets it have Indestructible. Now we are just surviving anything. Hexproof, it's got Indestructible, it's got Unblockable. Batman Gotham Knight is ready to swing through. So another of Batman's iconic equipment, and something that really does fit with the flavor of the deck, is Grapple Gun. Let's give the creature double strike, and whenever it attacks, you may have target creature block it this turn if able. So if we've got a huge Batman's Gauntlets on there, if we've got Batsuit and Kryptonite Spear, so it's got Death Touch all sort of on it at the same time, we can force an opponent to block if we want, or if we've got Black Blade Reforged going, double strike on top of that. Just a silly way to win with Batman, but very flavorful. Uses as offense, uses as defense. Grapple Gun belongs in this deck, as does the Batmobile. I knew I had to find something for Batmobile, and I went back and forth on a lot of cards for this. Let me know down in the comments what you think the Batmobile should be if we are going to customize it for a Chromium, aka Batman Gotham Knight deck. But I chose Untethered Express for two reasons. One, it's got trample so that it just kind of keeps pumping and keeps getting bigger and bigger with those +1/+1 counters. Plus, if it comes down to it, Bruce Wayne can pilot the Batmobile. We don't need Batman Gotham Knight to be a 7-power creature to be able to crew Untethered Express. Bruce Wayne can just jump in the untethered Batmobile itself and pilot perfectly. I think that's really flavorful and really works. This is one of the more off strategy picks, but I do like that it has that second ability, creatures you control gain hexproof and can't be blocked this turn. So we can still equip Kryptonite Spear or Batman's Gauntlets to another creature in our deck, and then let the bat signal make them unblockable and get through. So we've got a little backdoor way of winning with that. Plus, it's just built-in protection against hexproof if our opponents happen to be playing with some hexproof. So that is kind of Batman's gear that I've got in this deck so far. The deck list itself from Moxfield is down in the description. If you want to let me know any of the cards that I haven't altered in this deck yet and what they could be sort of in the Batman universe, or if you've got any good suggestions for cards that could be added to the deck, and I want to make a case for them to be like competitive. I want the deck to still be good and play well, but also have a Batman skin over the top of it. So with the equipment out of the way, I want to talk about some of Batman's allies, because Batman's allies are a huge part of his stories. And we're going to start with Alfred, Faithful Protector. This is Mother of Runes, and this is another way to allow Batman to get that combat damage through so that we can win that way. I really think it's flavorful to have, you know, like Batman beat up your opponents and you win. So let's let Alfred give Batman protection so that Batman can't be blocked. Also, little defensive as well. I like how there's a little offense/defense utility use to this creature, because we can protect Batman if something tries to target Gotham Knight. If we're not in a position where we can discard a card to protect Batman from some targeted removal, Alfred can save the day by just tapping and giving the Gotham Knight protection from whatever color is trying to attack him. Now we've also got another ally of Batman's in Robin, Boy Wonder, sort of double duty pulled by the Boy Wonder here. It fits into the Flash theme, and it gives all of our legendaries and artifacts, most importantly, Flash as well, so that our entire artifact package now in the deck can operate with Flash. If you look at that deck list, most of this deck is either instant speed or has Flash. There's only a few choices in here that don't fit into those categories, and so Robin Boy Wonder is going to help us with our artifact package also live during our opponent's turn. I also knew I wanted to put Nightwing in here because as a kid, Nightwing was just very cool to me. Cunning Nightbonder here is an absolute inclusion in a Flash deck. We're reducing the costs of our spells with Flash, and so it's just kind of a no-brainer to have in here. It's a very flavorful piece. I love the art that I was able to find for Nightwing for this card. This is one of my favorite altars in the deck, and sort of where we start like stepping away from, oh man, this card definitely is Nightwing out of all the Magic cards, and we start looking at the cards that are really good in the deck and say, what can we alter this into? What does it sort of fit with? Which brings me to the villains of Batman. I knew we had to have some of Batman's rogue gallery in the deck, and I wanted to, you know, again, find some stuff that really fit with the strategy, but also sort of fit the roles that we needed in the, you know, character space of who that character was. And so I went with Notion Thief being the Joker. If an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw, you draw that card instead. That's pretty laughable. I'm gonna laugh every time that happens. And so the Joker gets to be our Notion Thief in here, lives at flash speed just like the rest of the deck, is a little bit of a control magic card to fit into that role in here and allow Batman to eventually reign supreme by the end of the game, hopefully. This is another one where I would love any ideas you have for cards that would fit into Chromium's color identity, but you think would represent especially one of the villains. That would be fantastic to continue adding to this deck. Dr. Freeze fits beautifully in here. I went with a weird pick on this one. I went with Abishan Cephalid Emperor. I don't think enough people play this card or know about this card, but it's very Dr. Freeze. It's very Mr. Freeze for me. All creatures without flying get tapped for 3 blue mana, or you can just tap an untapped Cephalid you control, which Dr. Victor Freeze counts as, to tap target permanents straight up. 6 mana is a lot. You may not have 9 mana on the turn that Mr. Freeze comes in, but because that ability doesn't care if Mr. Freeze has haste or not, you can immediately start tapping down your opponent's permanent if you need to. Also wanted to include the Riddler in here. We've got a really cool version of the Riddler here off of Fate Spinner. I think that this is a nice control card to fit into this deck, and also it's very flavorful to the character. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player chooses draw step, main phase, or combat phase, and the player is going to skip each instance of the chosen step or phase. So they have to choose every turn if they're going to skip their draw step, their main phase, or their combat phase. Very Riddler of us, very control of us, and it allows us to hopefully slow the game down a little bit so that we can get to our giant CMC Batman, find our equipment, and then start winning. That is what we want to do. Lastly, I've got Vampiric Tutor here. I wanted an instant speed tutor, so I called it World's Greatest Detective and found some cool art of Batman and Alfred in the Batcave at the Bat Computer, because everything, you just put Bat in front of it and then it's Batman's. On a side note, in a Batman deck, I really like to cast a tutor and then go the whole time I'm looking for the card that I want to find. This is just another way to go and find your Kryptonite Spear, find your Batman's gauntlets, and make sure that you've got what you need for Batman to win through commander damage after a lot of flashy, control-y shenanigans throughout the entire game. So I told you that we've got a cool giveaway at the end of this one, and now is the time for that. Dragon Shield has given us these really cool Batman sleeves. These are the art matte back sleeves. I don't know if you've ever used these from Dragon Shield, but wow, are they awesome. They feel fantastic in holding them and shuffling them right out of the box. They really do, I gotta tell you. If you want to win some Batman sleeves, go down into the comment and give me a suggestion for this deck, and then put hashtag Dragon Shield on it. That is how I'm going to know that you want some Batman sleeves. I'm also going to be giving away the playmat to a winner, and then over on our Patreon, that'll be a second chance for you to win. I'm going to give away one of the packs of Batman sleeves to a random member of our Patreon to thank you for supporting us in all that we do over here. If you'd like to support us, joining our Patreon is a great way to do that. That helps me and Jake work towards our goal of making this our full-time job. Other than that, the free way to help us is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend who likes Batman. Big thanks to Kyle Burton and Card Conjurer. Card Conjurer is the website that I use to make these custom altars for my Batman deck. Go check out the website. Go check out Kyle's Patreon if you want to support him further. Past that, I'm tapped out. I'll catch you later.